If you are looking for a thin light that can clamp to your desk and don't want to drop $300 on the Elgato Key Light, I might have the alternative for you. What's up, friends? Welcome back to The Nerdy Filmmaker. Today we are talking about the Neewer desk mount, LED video light kit. Now, a lot of content creators, whether you're on YouTube or on Twitch, know about the Elgato Key Light. And that's a light that is fully customizable using the Elgato software, but it's $300. That's a lot of money for a light that's just sitting behind your desk. So while I was looking for an alternative, I came across the Neewer desk mount LED light panel. Now, before we take a look at how this actually looks on my skin, let's talk about some of the specs. The main panel comes in 3 different parts. So you have the actual LED light panel. This panel is comprised of 288 LEDs. Half those LEDs are cool LEDs and the other half are warm, which means you could control this light to be anywhere from 3,200 Kelvin all the way up to 5,600. The panel itself measures 14.8 inches by 10.5 inches. The light can either be plugged directly into the wall, or it does have 2 spots for NPF batteries. So this is what the C-clamp looks like. This is what's going to attach to your desk. You can attach this clamp to desks that measure between 0.45 inches and 3.46 inches in width. The stand's height is adjustable from 13.8 inches to 23.6 inches. The final piece of the body is this little adapter that the light panel sits on. Once attached, the panel can swivel 180 degrees front to back, which basically means you can not only use it as a streaming light, but also as a tabletop light to light kind of products that you might have on your tabletop. The light also comes with a remote control that uses 2 AAA batteries. Finally, everything comes together within a Neewer carrying case. Now, before going any further, let's switch to that light source and see what it looks like. So here we are. I've actually put the light onto a light stand because this particular desk that I'm using is real chunky like this, so it doesn't actually clamp onto that. But I've attached it to a light stand and put it at about the distance from where it usually is on my actual desktop desk. And I'm currently at 25% power at 4,400 Kelvin. So right away, let's jump into some of the things I really like about this light. So first off is the size. The diffusion is quite nice on the light panel, and so it's creating quite a nice fall off on my skin. The light itself is also extremely thin, and I wanted to keep it that way, so I'm not gonna be using batteries with this light. I'm actually plugging it directly into the power bar that's underneath my computer. The less I can have it jutting out, the better. I mean, that's the point of having a thin LED panel, so I just didn't want to go battery power and have to reach behind the thing every single time I wanted to charge my batteries. The build of the clamp itself is actually quite nice. So again, I'm not using the clamp right now, I'm using a light stand, but I really like, first off, that it has quite a wide range of thickness that it can fit into. That was a weird way of phrasing that. But so essentially I can open this up all the way, and if I need more space, these brackets over here can slide down. It slides this whole thing down and offers a lot more space. It seems quite strong. It is metal. It's not like a cheap piece of plastic. I haven't used this part enough yet to know if there's any kind of like degradation that comes with it. Degradation? Degradation. But it seems quite strong, so I'm pretty happy with that. When it comes to the remote, it's pretty simple. There's not a lot on this. You can basically control multiple lights with the same one by setting them to different channels. And so to show you what the range of color temperature looks like, I'm gonna switch this all the way down to the warmest, there you go, and then bring that up all the way to the coolest. Ta-da! It's pretty cool. That is a cool light. So again, this is at 25%. Which means that this light is quite bright. And that brings me to actually one of the first negatives, is because this light is supposed to be so close to your face, the lowest setting of power is actually quite bright. Whoops, that's the wrong button. Jesus, get your act together, Julian. So this is the light down at 1%. I personally like streaming horror games when I'm playing on Twitch, so it's a bit bright for me for that, but you know what? In the end, that's really not that big of a deal. To bring you to the second thing that is not great about this light, and really seems to be a common thread for any like bicolor LED panel that has individual warm and cool LEDs, like the Neewer 660 RGB lights, which I made a video about, so you can check that out in the description or in the end card of this video, is that the color temperature accuracy seems to shift quite a bit right when you come off one of the two extremes. So right now, I'm at the coolest that this light can be, 5600 Kelvin. So I'm going to bring the power down first to 1%. I'm just going to adjust my camera so that you can see a bit better. So we are right now at 5600 Kelvin, and now watch as soon as I switch to 55. You'll see that the image becomes instantly a lot warmer. Now why is that? It's because the warm LEDs are all of a sudden turning on. So there's a big shift between 56 and 5500 Kelvin and 32 and 3300 Kelvin. That actually is quite a drastic change, right? But we should know that that is a lot less noticeable when you're not at 1% power. So for example, here we are back at 25%, and I'll nudge it over, and this difference in these LEDs turning on are not as noticeable. The other thing that means is that the power of the light is a lot stronger when you're not on one of the two extremes, because both sets of lights are being used. The final thing I wanted to mention about the remote is that you can turn on and off the light by pressing the middle button. But essentially that's not actually turning on and off the light, it's setting the light to 0% power. So the light is still on when you press that. Therefore, if you are using, let's say, batteries, it will continue to drain a certain amount of your batteries. Now, so far, I've not been able to use this light with my Neewer app that I've been using for my other LED panels. So it really seems that it's just to be used with this controller over here, which is definitely a downside if you're comparing it to the Elgato light. But in the end, it's really about what are you looking for? Are you really just looking for a light, or are you looking for a multi-function light that works with the rest of your system? Is that price increase really worth it? Because after all, this light I bought for $160 Canadian. All right, so that is just over half of the price for the Elgato Key Light. For me, at the current stage of my streaming career, don't need all the extra bells and whistles of full functionality. Now, I'll admit, I've never used the Elgato Key Light, so I'm hoping to find someone that I can borrow one from so I can have a comparison video. So if and when I eventually make that video, there's going to be a link in the description of this video, so you can watch that next. What is my conclusion about this light? At $160, it offers a very soft light that can clamp to your desk, clear up space on your desk. I have found that this light has been able to compete with window lighting that's coming in through my blinds, so not direct light. It's a strong light, it's a powerful light, the clamp itself is quite robust, and so I find it to be extremely good value for the price. It does everything I need of it. Does it have the full RGB spectrum? No, it doesn't. Do you need red light on your face? Maybe you do. Now, when it comes to the carrying case, while I'm usually a pretty big fan of having carrying cases, I don't plan on carrying this anywhere. So, I mean, it's just one more bag in my closet. This is gonna stay clamped to my desk, and I have that light ready whenever I need for Zoom calls, for Twitch streams, for YouTube videos where I'm doing editing tutorials or whatever. And so I'm actually quite happy with this purchase, you know? So if you wanna check out this light, I've left a link in the description. If some of you have used this light before, please let me know in the comments, especially if you've also tried other lights like the Elgato Key Light. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, friends, Nerdy Filmmaker saying, light 'em up! I don't know. Oh my God.